Greetings everyone, and welcome to another Magic Duels video gameplay with some two-headed giant. Today we're going to go ahead and have a look at the Artifacts deck. This is a monocolored artifact deck, which is different from kind of the vehicle deck that I showed previously. Vehicles are a lot of fun, and there are a couple vehicles in here because vehicles are artifacts. But let's go ahead and take a look at the cards real quick, and then we'll jump into some games. So first we have the Bone Saw, which is just a 0 mana artifact, and we'll get to why that's in there in a minute. We have the Merchant's Dockhand, another cheap construct artifact that has some useful abilities for later in the game. When you're flooding out or if you have a lot of mana, you can use it to search creatures up. So it can be pretty useful, and it's a nice cheap starter. We have the Bonded Construct, which cannot attack alone, so keep that in mind. And there's some interesting things you can do with this in Two-Headed Giant, because it actually counts for your allies attacking creatures. You can actually attack with this if your ally is attacking with a creature in Two-Headed Giant. So pretty unique. The Lupine Prototype, which is 2 mana for a 5/5, but it can't attack or block unless a player has no cards. The Eager Construct is a 2/2 that lets everybody scry. So in Two-Headed Giant, all 4 players will scry. The Smuggler's Copter, always a great one for fixing your hand, allowing you to discard a card you don't want and draw a card. And the crew cost is pretty cheap. So a nice little artifact. And once again, there are a couple of vehicles, but they're all artifacts as well. We have the Servo Schematic, which is another artifact that costs 2, and it creates a 1/1 Servo creature token. And then when this artifact is destroyed somehow or sacrificed, you get to create another Servo artifact. Alchemist's Vial, a blast from the past. It draws you a card when it enters, and you can sacrifice it for 1 to prevent a creature from attacking you or blocking. And once again, these will be nice for our synergies. Telling Time, one of my favorite instant cards in blue. A great way to fix your draw and fix your deck up. Being able to put a card into your hand out of a choice of 3, putting one on the bottom that you don't want, and putting one on the top of your library. The Esperzoa, which looks like a weird alien creature, is also an artifact, and we use its ability quite a bit in this deck, being able to put an artifact back into our hand at the beginning of our upkeep. So things like the Vial, you want to put back into your hand, and you can use it again to draw another card, and you could just infinitely do that. You can do the Servo Schematic and make another 1/1, and just keep doing that every turn. So it's got some nice abilities. The Chief of the Foundry, of course, is an artifact that gives all other artifacts +1/+1, a must-have. The Inspector also is great, makes all the artifacts cost 1 less. The Filigree Familiar, you can make this cheaper, of course, and it's still quite useful. And you can also bounce it with the Jellyfish that we recently showed. The Harvester is our other vehicle here, which is always a great 3/5 blocker that can be crewed for just 1. Of course, we're running Metallic Rebuke, which we can use Improvise for this. It's a nice hard counter, which is just costing 1 blue mana pretty much, and you could just tap 2 of your artifacts to do that. Like, the Bone Saw or the Schematic, stuff like that you don't even care about and you can easily block or easily tap. Mechanized Production is an alternate win condition in this mono blue deck where you can make duplicates of things, and then if you have 8 or more of those artifacts, you win the game. So it's kind of an alternate win condition, and you can just start duplicating things. The Thopter Spy Network, of course, is always great, making 1/1 Thopters, as long as you control an artifact, which you pretty much always will do. And then when you hit with an artifact, you get to draw cards. And once again, this mechanized production, you can say put that on a Thopter, and you can produce lots of Thopters and win the game pretty quick. The Sky Sovereign console flagship is always great as a legendary artifact. Does 3 damage to anything when it comes in and when it attacks. The crew price is a little high, but just a powerful curve topper. We have a Reverse Engineer, which you can often just play for 2 blue mana. Drawing 3 cards for 2 mana is quite the deal when you're having trouble. Just a nice, great card draw. And of course, we don't mind tapping things like the Bone Saw. You can actually just tap this, even though it's equipped to something. And you can tap some of these others, like the Servo Schematic. It doesn't really matter if you tap this or not, it's sitting on the field. You can still use all these, and they also untap in your upkeep. And then we have the Metalwork Colossus, our awesome epic giant monster thingy, which costs X less to cast, where X is the total converted mana cost of non-creature artifacts. So the artifacts on the field reduce the cost of this. You can sometimes just play this for free. So a free 10/10 is pretty awesome. And you can also get this back from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a recursive 10/10 threat that's pretty nasty. And the mana base is 18 islands, because this is mono blue pretty much. We got 1 Westvale Abbey, because lots of Thopters to sacrifice if you want to convert Westvale Abbey into Ormondal the Profane Prince. Pretty easy to do that, and it's a great lifelinker. We've got 1 copy of the Ruins of Oran Reef, which sadly enters tapped, but we can put a 1/1 counter on colorless creatures. And most of our creatures are colorless. And then we have 2 copies of Inventor's Fair, of course. If you control 3 artifacts, we gain 1 life at the beginning of our upkeep, and we can sacrifice this at any time to search for an artifact of our choice. And so that works great in an artifact deck. So that's our deck. Let's go ahead and jump in and see how the deck works out. Once again, the mana base is pretty easy with this one, because it is mono blue with just a couple utility lands. So yeah, that first hand was pretty bad because of the mana, of course. And yeah, I should be running, 24 to 26, mana, 60% of your deck. Most people know that's kind of a rule, but the mana is a little less in this deck because I've found I just there's some more valuable creatures that I want, and there's lots of card draw and ways you can get those lands that you need. So telling time, let's go ahead and we'll keep the Chief, put that into our hand, and I'll keep the Esperzoa on top. And I'll show you, this is the Bonded Construct, which cannot attack alone. So you see it can attack alone, but it's interesting if you're playing this in Two-Headed Giant, you can attack with this creature as long as your buddy or partner is attacking with a single creature. You can actually attack with it. It doesn't have to be your own creature. So very unique interaction there that has to do with a Two-Headed Giant. Typically you don't want to play the Esperzoa unless you have things you want to bounce. And you definitely don't want to play the Esperzoa alone, because then at the beginning of your turn you just have to return it to your hand because it is an artifact itself. So hopefully I can draw into some of my cheap, sacrifice his own creature just to get a 4/4 in play, huh? Okay, Inventor's Fair is always good. Let's play this for 2 mana. We'll go ahead and get this out there, I guess. I can always put the Bonded Construct back in my hand. But the Esperzoa is nice. You can put things Like I previously mentioned, the Alchemist's Vial to draw. Well, if he's going to do that, I'll just go ahead and make a trade here. I'm fine with that. I mean, the Esperzoa is pretty valuable, but I mean, I've got a bunch of card draw in hand. I've got more Esperzoas in the deck. And we'll start gaining life here. The prototype only costs 1 mana. So let's just put that out there. I can use it, tap it, since it's useless otherwise. Although, well, I'm about to have no cards in hand, but that's also going to change. So let me go ahead and I'm not going to tap all of these. Since I've got plenty of mana to pay for this cost instead, I'll keep up a couple. I can play this schematic for 1. And I can still keep up Metallic Rebuke. And once again, this schematic counts for 2 artifacts because it creates 1 when it comes in. So I still have the Rebuke up and can use it to counter the next play. Not the most vicious threat, but hey, might as well cast this, or cancel this, since it does have a hexproof. It's a hexproof creature, sometimes a little more difficult to get away, to take it away with burn spells. Hey, Telling Time is always good. Cast it before I do my land here, see what we got in the top. So mechanized production is very tempting. Guess there's only one of those in the deck, sadly. So keep that on top. In this format you can only run 1 copy. But as you can see, I could put it on, say, this familiar and duplicate it every single turn, gaining 2 life, and then you can chump with those duplicates and draw a card for each one that dies. I could start duplicating the Foundry Inspector, so that pretty soon all your artifacts cost nothing. If you have, tons of copies of those. So you're just going to make another 3/3 token and gain some more life. And yeah, there's so many options to put this on. I could put it on the servo schematic just to make infinite servos every turn. But let's just have some fun, put it on the chief. This is usually not a good idea because that chief that has the enchantment on it can be targeted and destroyed, and then you lose the enchantment, of course. So it's better to put it on, in this deck, one of the artifacts that's just sitting there, like I mentioned, the servo schematic, because it's harder to remove that. And then you can just create infinite duplicates of that, and then when you have 8 duplicates, you win the game, no matter what board state is going on. So we'll make a copy of this chief, and each copy is going to give all the artifacts +1/+1, a little ridiculous. And I can put a 1/1 counter on the one that just entered. And Inventor's Fair is kind of unfortunate. This is a legendary land, so I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice the other one. You can't have 2. And we'll grab something awesome. The flagship is awesome. And then we can play this second Inventor's Fair out. So keep that in mind, that the Inventor's Fair land is a legendary land, so you can only have 1 of them. And I'm okay trading this off if he wants to chump block, that's fine. Get to draw a card off of it. Another very nice draw. The Aether Sphere Harvester is great. So he's just going to do feed, draw a card. Another reason why I was fine trading off some of the creatures a while back, so that the opponent's feed would be less and he would have less to draw. Oh yeah, we're just going to slam down the flagship here. And once again, every turn, all these artifacts are getting bigger and bigger, and the vehicles are also affected. So the vehicles also have +2/+2, but yeah, we're just going to end it here. Would have been fun to attack with the console flagship, but hey, on to the next one. So let's try another round out. Of course, we'll do some two-headed giant with my partner Wild Boar after a couple more games. So if you're only interested in, seeing how this deck works in two-headed giant, feel free to skip to our two-headed giant round. But in the meantime, this hand is a little awkward with 2 Inventor's Fairs, but once again we'll do the same thing like I did in the last game. We'll just sacrifice one of the Inventor's Fairs and search up, whatever fun artifact we want, and then you can put the second Inventor's Fair on the field. So we already have 2 artifacts that we can tap for whatever. Could have almost Metallic Rebuked that on turn 2, but not quite. So yeah, once again I found this deck can still function decently with a little less mana than what is typical. And this construct I can play for free because of the Inspector out there. And yeah, I'm okay trading this, that's for sure. But yeah, one of the cool things about this deck is being able to just tap the standing artifacts that don't do anything instead of actually tapping your creatures for the improvise mechanic. That way you can keep them on blocking duty. So that 2/2 can now become a 3/3. Guess we'll just play out the Inspector and keep up Metallic Rebuke here. Don't really have any great attacks here, so we'll go ahead and wait. And I've got something big and scary I can cancel if I need be. So yeah, I'm fine trading for that. The Bonded Construct isn't incredibly valuable. And he's just going to make a zombie. Well, can't really prevent that from happening. We'll gain some life here. And yeah, kind of flooding out here a bit. So I may just go ahead and sacrifice this other Inventor's Fair to find something. We'll do it. We can do it at instant speed, so see if we have something we want to rebuke. Probably worth rebuking. And he doesn't have any good attacks. And I didn't quite have enough mana to sacrifice the Inventor's Fair there. Hey, there we go. That's a great draw. Let's just reverse engineer to fill our hand back up. Always tap down your normal artifacts or any creatures you're not planning on blocking with. There's some decent draws. Make sure not to play the Inventor's Fair while the other one's still out in the field. Put a dock hand down, and of course we got the flagship coming up here, so that's gonna end the game pretty quick. Okay, that's an acceptable creature, although I have been tricked by that creature before since it has prowess. Or no, not prowess, but it gets +1/+1 when you cycle or discard a card, which is different than prowess. And let's do reverse engineer, tapping these down because it's got summoning sickness anyway. Draw 3 more. Careful not to play the Inventor's Fair. And yeah, I'm just going to stay on defense, but we're pretty much in control. Opponent only has 2 cards in hand. Can't think of much that he could have. A board wipe can be devastating. It's going to make another 3/3 token. It's got a lot of those mouths to feed. That opponent has lots of hungry creatures with mouths to feed. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this Inventor's Fair out of here. Pick up something fun. What could we do? Chief of the Foundry is always good. Prototype, not the best when I have all these cards in hand. Maybe a Colossus, just for fun. Don't know if I could play it yet. Esperzo is always great too. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab an Esperzo. That way I can start flickering and make infinite tokens. And the tokens are all 2/2s now. Let's go ahead and crew this with our Esperzoa that has summoning sickness. Might as well. And yeah, it's a 7/6. And we'll take out the 3/3 Hippo. Sorry, Hippo, no offense. I have nothing against hippos, but the Hippo had the ability to draw him a card with the mouth to feed. So that's why you want to take out anything that's 3 or higher. I'm gonna play a Shimmering Drake. 3/4 flyer. Well, flyer can be a little annoying. That gets in the way of my flagship. So the Esperzo is going to trigger here. We have to return something to our hand. So I'm just returning the schematic, which you can replay for just a single mana. And make another construct. Put another chief out there. So yeah, get a harvester out here, and I could still play Telling Time. Let's see what we got coming up next. Make some energy. Not the best top 3, but a copter can be decent. Let's grab the servo schematic, and then we'll keep the copter. Play this out for 1 mana. And once again, if you have 2 of the Foundry Inspectors, you can just constantly play these for free and put it back into your hand with the Esperzoa, play it for free, and just go off. And that's again why Ormondal, the Profane Prince, is in the deck, because you got all these tokens you can sacrifice if you want to transform him. So we'll destroy one of his creatures, and he's only got 2 blockers. Not quite lethal, but yeah. I suppose I did have lethal on board if I attacked with the Overseer, or whatever he's called, the 3/4 that buffs everybody. I can't remember names for some reason. Like, there's too many names in Magic the Gathering. I have a lot of respect for people that can remember the names of every single creature and every single card type and that sort of thing, but I'm not that... my memory's not that good. I'm gonna put the Aether Sphere Harvester back, I think, because I can replay this and get more energy. Another fun thing you can kind of do, want to show off, can create 2 extra energy every turn for the Harvester. And we're just gonna end the game here. 1 life. Don't think there's any way the opponent could get out of that unless he had like fog. Alright, let's do 1 more round and then we'll go into a 2-headed giant game. And yeah, if this deck looks like fun, it is. I really have a lot of fun with this one. And being mono blue and most of the cards colorless, usually you don't run into any kind of mana trouble. I hardly ever do, and it's got some really fun synergies, really interesting choices that you can make with the Esperzoa bouncing stuff and making infinite harvesters, infinite energy, all kinds of stuff. And then the alternate win condition can be a lot of fun too. I rarely get a chance to show that off because there's only 1 of those cards in the deck. And you don't always often draw it, and sometimes you don't have a really good artifact to put it on. But I'm going to go ahead and put the Harvester out there to be mana efficient, and this Harvester is a great blocker, as I've mentioned many times before, especially when the opponent has a quick start like this one. So keep my 2/2 on defense here so I can crew the Harvester. No, he's gonna destroy my 2/2 with Trial of Zeal, so let's go ahead and crew before that happens. That way he doesn't really have a good attack. So that's unfortunate. But at least he didn't have a good attack there. Let me try to hit my land for the turn. Draw a card with this. That's not a land, but that's okay. Still, I can play the Bonded Construct. And we can crew the Harvester if need be. I could attack and give it lifelink, gain 3, but I'm just going to keep it on defense here. Prevents the 4/3 from attacking. The opponent's pretty wise, seems to know that the Harvester is there and can be crewed at any time, so he didn't make an attack. Well, I was hoping to draw a land, but Thopter Spy Network is also a great draw. Hopefully I can just get 1 more. If not, once again I can use my draw 3 card next turn by just tapping a bunch of stuff down. I don't mind tapping all the baubles. Opponent's gonna do nothing. Still no land. We'll put that out there because I can tap it. So let's go ahead and draw 3, sorry. And we'll go ahead and tap some stuff down. There we go. There's some of our lands. Such a great draw 3 card because you've always got some artifacts you don't mind tapping down. And the opponent's still not doing much. Kind of surprised he hasn't made a zombie, but he must have some pretty nice 5-drops in his hand. Kind of mana screwed like me at the moment. But we're starting to pull ahead here with all the card draw. And hopefully if I can keep this Esperzoa, I can just start throwing things back into my hand. If I need card draw, I can just bounce the Alchemist's Vial over and over again to draw extra cards every turn, or I can make infinite energy, or I can just start making a bunch of tokens. So for now I'll go ahead and, since I have 2 vials out there, and I do want to get the spy network going, That's one of the best cards in the deck. You want to get the Spy Network going as soon as possible. But yeah, I'm afraid the opponent probably has a Glorybringer. It's the only reason I could think of that they would be kind of holding on to their mana. Since the Glorybringer costs 5, and yeah, that's going to hurt. If he does have a Glorybringer. Yep, it is a Glorybringer. That's the only reason he would have kept mana instead of sacrificing those to make zombies. Well, I can at least prevent the 4 damage to my face, but gonna lose the Esperzoa sadly. Yeah, Glorybringer is always a nightmare. Let's go ahead and gain 3 life for 1 energy. Sadly, I can't destroy it, so that Glorybringer is going to be a problem. The Sky Sovereign flagship can't deal with it either, because it only does 3 damage. But I'm going to run it out, get it out there at least. I can kill the 4/3 at least. Fortunately, the Glorybringer's tapped down, but every turn it's going to be taking out one of my creatures. Definitely keep the Chief. Don't need an extra land, but we'll put 1 on top and 1 on the bottom. So yeah, Telling Time is such a great card for kind of fixing your draw. Allows you to get rid of something you don't really need. And I'm going to go ahead and attack. Put some pressure on the opponent since that 4/4 isn't going to untap. And he's going to be picking off my creatures one by one. And we get to draw off the Spy Network. So as you can see, usually you don't have mana trouble in the way I've designed the deck. So that's why I'm running a little bit less. Oh wow, put a -1/-1 counter on his Glorybringer. That's why I'm running a little bit less mana than what you usually should run. He just wanted to get in 5 damage. That's not going to help, and now I can take out the Glorybringer. The prototype isn't going to do much since I got so many cards in hand. But we're just going to run out everything here, and we even got Metallic Rebuke that I can keep up to counter his next play. But yeah, he is pretty much dead. It's just crew with 6/6 that can't do anything. And now I can actually take out his Glorybringer, as he made it into a 3/3. And we'll just do Exaxes. Another win for the artifacts. Alright, the time you've all been waiting for. We're going to have a 2-headed giant round with the artifact deck. Going to play with my ally, Wild Boar. So thanks to Wild Boar for joining me on a fun 2-headed giant round, and we'll be showing off how the artifact deck can work as 2-headed giants. And honestly, this deck is a lot of fun in all modes. So here we go. Wild Boar is on the right there. Looks like he's doing maybe the black-white zombie deck. We'll have to see. But I'm going to keep this hand, start with the Dock hand, which I haven't really gotten to show off, but it is quite nice. When your hand is empty or you're kind of mana flooded and you got nothing going on, you can search up creatures with the Dock hand. So maybe I'll get a chance to show it off during this 2-headed giant. So I've got no turn 2 play, sadly. Let's see what Mana Wild Boar searches up here. with his Evolving Wilds. Okay, blue. So he is playing the black, blue, and white zombie deck, which has some, black and blue colored, multicolored zombies, as well as, of course, the black zombies and some white. So, gives him some flexibility. He could have some counter spells in there as well. We'll see. But that's the 3-color zombie deck. Another one which is pretty good, quite powerful. Harsh Mentor, that can be kind of annoying because the Dock Hand does have an activated ability, so we take 2 damage if I activate it. I'm going to go ahead and just draw an extra card here. Oh wow, got the Colossus, haven't gotten to show that off yet. And Wild Boar is going to just play out Liliana. It is the Liliana creature that can transform into the Planeswalker. So he's fine trading either of these zombies off, since that'll transform his Liliana into the Planeswalker version and create a zombie. So I'm guessing the opponent probably isn't going to block either of those. So that was a pretty nice attack, and the opponent doesn't have any good attacks on the way back, since Liliana is a 2/3 lifelink. I noticed Wild Boar has an Aether Hub there too. I'm not sure if he's got some energy cards in his deck, but that's also possible. I can't think of any zombies that have energy effects, but there could be some. We'll have to see. He might just have that for mana fixing, since in Magic Duels the mana fixing is a little more difficult to do, since there's not any of the tri-lands. So like a 3-color deck and a 4-color deck, they get pretty hard to manage, and you don't always draw the mana you need. So the opponent could have a counter spell up. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Foundry Inspector out here, since instead of the Spy Network. And now Wild Boar is attacking with some 3/2 zombies, since his Lord of the Accursed has pumped all zombies. And I guess our opponent's going to trade. So that means he's going to get his Liliana Planeswalker and a 3/3 zombie. Although, yeah, I guess I could just discard the Eager Con. He's going to have to force everybody to discard. I could discard the Colossus, I suppose, because you can always get the Colossus back from the graveyard. But I want to see if I can maybe show it off, and I don't think the Bonded Construct is all that valuable at this point. I mean, it's valuable as an artifact, but I do want to keep up Metallic Rebuke, and definitely want to keep the Network. And Wild Boar's got a pretty good leftover in the Diregraph Colossus, which is a giant zombie. If he plays it, it'll get +1/+1 counters depending on the zombies in his graveyard, which is 2 right now, so it'll come in as a 4/4. So bigger than usual, and it'll create zombie tokens for him. And yeah, we'll have to see if his Liliana can ultimate. It's always fun to see a Liliana ultimate. Not always possible, but... So I gotta play out this Spy Network. And Wild Boar is gonna put that Colossus out there. Oh yeah, it's 5/5, since he's got the Lord of the Accursed pumping everything. Sadly, if Wild Boar triggers the Liana, yeah, he is going to have to discard this Colossus, sadly. I mean, I can get the Colossus back, so not a huge loss, but I definitely want to keep up the Rebuke here. And sadly, Wild Boar had to get rid of his zombie, but yeah, I could bring the Metalwork Colossus back to my hand. But I should probably wait until I have another kind of useless artifact I'm willing to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice 2 artifacts in order to bring the Colossus back. And once again, I don't have enough mana to play it or enough artifacts to reduce its cost significantly, so we'll just leave it in the graveyard for now. But yeah, you can do that at any time, so that's why the graveyard on my side will be glowing once in a while, because you have the Metalwork Colossus's option. Colossus's, is that a word? Or is it Colossi? Is that the... Is Colossi? Is that the plural for Colossus? So yeah, unfortunately, Wild Boar is going to have to do one more tick up in order to get the Liliana Ultimate. So we're going to have to wait an extra turn. But we'll see. I'm going to keep this Rebuke. I guess I could have canceled that Liliana Planeswalker, but I'm kind of holding on to this Rebuke just in case the opponent has a kill card for Wild Boar's Liliana. Just trying to protect my partner's Planeswalker. Okay, there's a 4/3. Not much of a threat. Can let that go. Oh, he did have a cancel in his hand that he discarded. So hopefully I can just draw a land or something that I can discard. Well, bummer. Esperzoa is not really something I want to discard. But I may have to. Because yeah, I think keeping up this Rebuke is probably better. And yeah, the opponent across from Wild Boar there, looks like he's kind of mana screwed. He's only got 3. The Wild Boar is returning one of his zombies from the graveyard to the field. Yeah, this turn is kind of a waste for me, but I'm just going to go ahead and keep up this Metallic Rebuke. I don't have to tap anything. And I'll be making Thopters, an army of Thopters here pretty quick. And once again, to bring the Colossus back from the graveyard, I can just sacrifice 2 of the Thopters, the Thopter tokens, that I'll be creating every single turn. But yeah, that Liliana could be bad for me. Its ultimate is destroy all non-zombie creatures, so that's not going to affect Wild Boar's side at all, since all his creatures are zombies. But it will destroy all artifacts, all artifact creatures, so that's a problem. But if Wild Boar can get an ultimate, he can probably win the game by himself. But yeah, sadly it looks like one of the opponents is kind of low on mana there. Only 3 mana this entire game. So when one person struggles, it can be hard for the other ally. I'm going to go ahead and show off how the Dockhand works here. Tapping 3 artifacts, so I get to look at the top 3 and put 1 into my hand. So it's a good way to find some action when you've got extra mana, and it was a good use of my mana. So yeah, it looks like Wild Boar can ultimate now if he wants. Yep, he's gonna do it. Got a Liliana ultimate, and his Planeswalker is still on the field, which is always nice, at 1 loyalty. He's gonna give all his zombies Menace. Menacing zombies. And bring another one back from the graveyard. So it looks like we're gonna go ahead and try to take out his Liliana. He's gonna have to double block everything. And it's kind of interesting. He triggered that menace for all zombies, and if you notice the opponent's side, the 2 zombies also got menace. So that's a symmetrical thing. You need to be careful of that. Where the opponent's zombies also got menace, which is kind of funny. Of course, they're on defense, but so all those creatures died, and the Liliana, of course, emblem says whenever a creature dies, it comes back under your control. So that's why Wild Boar was fine attacking with his creatures, because they're going to come back. So yeah, at this point, any creature that dies will come back to the field under Wild Boar's control. So you can pretty much attack at will, since anything that dies will just come back every time. And he's got the opponent's 4/3, which sadly forced him to sacrifice. Or not sacrifice, but discard a card. And the opponent had a Censor, so he had a lot of cancel cards in hand, but yeah, he was definitely struggling to hit his land drops this game, it looked like. There, he finally got one. He's up to 4. Still really haven't used this Metallic Rebuke yet. The other opponent's going to make a zombie, so can't really cancel that. But yeah, fortunately Liliana did not ultimate. The opponent's Liliana, that is. We'll see if there's any... Yep, I guess there is an incoming attack here. I'll go ahead and chump this to protect Wild Boar's Liliana. Of course, it's a token, so it doesn't come back from the Liliana emblem, sadly. Only actual creatures will come back, not tokens. Probably I should have kept that land in hand, so I could have discarded it. Wild Boar is going to make a zombie token and get a nasty 6/5 out there, killing one of his zombies with the -1/-1 counters, but it'll come back with Liliana's emblem. And he's going to give all his zombies Menace. And probably just keep attacking. I'm going to go ahead and do the dock hand here, since I'll keep up 1 creature so I can crew the Harvester. Look at the top 2. Yeah, reverse engineer. Let's take that. Give me some card draw. I guess I will be tapping these down after all. Another dock hand. Well, 2 Thopter Spy Networks is nice. I guess I might as well get rid of Metallic Rebuke now, I suppose, or the dock hand, since I already have 1 in play. Wow, he had to discard a god. So that was pretty nice. The opponent had to discard, what is it, Ubuntu. the Egyptian black god. And once again, the opponent's zombies have menace, if you notice, since Wild Boar triggered a menace on all his zombies. And he's just going for Liliana again here on the opponent's side. Doesn't really matter if any of his creatures die from double blocks. Sadly, none of those tokens will come back under Wild Boar's control, but hey, at least it eliminates a bunch of creatures. And he made sure to kill the real creature, which will come back. So yeah, when you do that, make sure to kill the actual creatures instead of the tokens. So he's got a nice pile of creatures that belong to the opponent now, as well as his own zombies are immortal. They'll just keep coming back unless they get exiled. I suppose that's really the only way to take care of it, since if they're exiled, it won't work with the emblem. And the other opponent's just discarding cards to make 2/2 flyers. Not a bad strategy, but yeah, maybe this time Liliana's gonna die from the 4/4 flyer. Wild Boar's Liliana, that is, since we don't have any flyers on defense. But that's okay. I think she's done a lot of work this game, and the emblem's already out there, so yep. So our opponents are gonna take out Liliana because they fear her, but she did a lot of work this game. And Wild Boar can just attack with all his creatures without any kind of worry whatsoever, because all of his creatures will come back. So I can finally buff all the artifacts here. Do another spy network, because that's always fun. Wild Boar is going to sacrifice his evolving wilds, get another land. So yeah, we've got 2 spy networks going now. So I'm going to get 2 2/2 Thopters every turn. So I'm going to start getting aggressive here. It's about time the artifacts show their worth in this 2-headed giant game. Oh wow. Wild Boar's just going all out, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get aggressive too here. Wild Boar is all going for Liliana, just to guarantee she dies. I'm going to go ahead and gain life by paying 1 energy. Not that we need any life. I'll see how the opponent blocks. So yeah, I'll lose my Inspector, but actually Wild Boar will get it. Well, I haven't really used these metallic rebukes this game. And the Orin Reef is a little late to the show. Could have been using it to put +1/+1 counters on everything. But yeah, so my Foundry Inspector is going to go over there. And now Wild Boar has control of it. Which is fine. It's always fine if your ally takes control. Let me go and just use one of these. Tap a couple artifacts. Let's cancel something because I can. Feel like I should get some use out of the metallic rebuke. which is why I didn't play the bonded construct last turn. I wanted to keep that one blue up. But yeah, I think our opponent's in a lot of trouble here. Only one card each. And we've got an army here on the ground. So yeah, the opponent's just going to attack with the 4/4 because he knows he can't win on the ground. Even keeping that 4/4 back as a blocker wouldn't help. So he's getting 4 damage in while he can. But yeah, I'm going to make 2 more Thopters here. And get my Metalwork Colossus back, because why not? So I sacrificed 2 artifacts, got my Metalwork Colossus back in hand. Go ahead and put it out there just to show it off. 11/11 monstrous creature. But yeah, this game is pretty much over. I can cancel my own creature, but let's just go ahead and attack here. I'm going to crew with the bonded construct. Gain 4 more life. And yeah, we probably could have ended the game last turn if we ignored Liliana. Let's go ahead and give this lifelink while I'm thinking about it. But we wanted to make sure Liliana was gone just in case there was no shenanigans. And our opponent's dead. Alright! Fun game. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed some two-headed giant goodness. And try out this artifact deck. It's a lot of fun. See you all next time. Ja minasan, mata ne.